Welcome to the Capital Spreads Weekly Update. Today is Wednesday, the 26th of October 2011, and a day that will be marked down in the history of the European Union as one of the most important in its history. Certainly the single currency, as we expect later on tonight, announcements for plans as to exactly how they're going to deal with the sovereign debt crisis going forward, but more of that in the theme of the week. So really at the moment markets seem to be in quite optimistic mood. We have had quite a degree of volatility so far this week. There was a scare that today's meeting had been postponed yet again, but in fact it was the Eurozone finance ministers that postponed their meeting. We still expect obviously announcements to be made later on tonight, and as mentioned, you know, the markets are in relatively optimistic mood ahead of those announcements. So the FTSE's a bit higher at 55.60. The Dow is trading around 11,825, and for the euro also being propped up nicely, 139.30, and the risk appetite is causing the dollar to weaken quite a bit. So cables at 1.6 on the figure, and also the dollar weakness has really given a boost to gold, which has traded back above the 1700 level. It's around 1710 at the moment. Relative strength of Brent too, it's at 110.70. So far this week really it's been all about the build up to tonight's announcement, but also at the same time we have had relatively good corporate earnings from across Europe, and so that has helped add to the slightly bullish sentiment. Have clients been trading? Well, they've been opposing this strength. I think that certainly over the longer term, the view is that it may be really difficult for Europe to muddle through, and so it would seem that clients are taking that bearish stance now, opposing the strength in the FTSE, believing that resistance just above here, which is seen around 5600 and 5650, slightly more major resistance, will hold out. So selling into the FTSE's strength and also selling into the strength of US markets. They're also opposing the risk appetite in currency markets, a slightly short sterling dollar and slightly short euro dollar as well. So for the rest of this week, well, obviously tonight is crucial, but on the economic data front we've got US GDP numbers and UK consumer confidence. Nothing expected, no excitement expected from UK consumer confidence, but certainly US GDP numbers are expected to rise to about 2.5% from 1.3%. So the theme of this week obviously is the summit today. What are we going to see? What will be announced? It's almost certain that we will see the announcement that European banks will have to recapitalise to the tune of some 110 billion. It's a drop in the ocean compared to the sort of debts that are outstanding to the likes of Italy and Spain, but certainly goes some way perhaps to alleviate a bit of the pressure. The other question is what sort of haircut will private investors have to take? Will they accept a 60% write-down to their debt exposure to Greece, and therefore if they do, will that take Greece out of the equation? Will Greece suddenly be in a much better position to be able to repay the then outstanding loans and possibly avoid a default? And then of course will there be any announcements in boosting the EFSF? Currently, when it started, it was at 440 billion. Since bailing out Greece, Portugal and Ireland, we're down to around some 250 billion left. That's not going to be enough at all. Possibly would be able to finance Italy for a year, but you know, beyond there, what can we do? So we're going to be looking for news on how that might be leveraged, how that will be boosted. This is all crucial for confidence going forward. And the main question is will any of the announcements convince the world that Italy and Spain are safe from a potential bailout? Or will this just be another case of kicking the can down the road? If it's kicking the can down the road and it doesn't lead to confidence for financial markets, there could be a very sharp sell-off. But if people think, yes, we're out, of the woods now, then it could mean that the rally might continue. All in all, it's probably going to lead to a very volatile session later on this evening. That's it for this week. As ever, do give us feedback. media@capitalspreads.com.